Hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's daily antidote of song. So glad to see a bunch of folks coming into the room today to sing and to be with us in this space. Welcome, everybody. For anybody who's new today, the daily antidote of song is one sing-along song every day at noon Eastern. We come in here, we sing, we make ourselves feel better. We try to change the world kind of one day at a time, one song at a time. And we're really glad you found us and that you're joining us today. I see some folks in the room I haven't seen in a very long time. Very exciting that we have folks back. Let's help me please wave to everybody out there on the live stream. Hello, folks on Facebook. Hello, folks on YouTube. We're really glad you're with us today. We can't exactly see you, but we know you're there, and we're glad to have you smiling along with us. Let's say hi to everybody here in the room, starting with Bonnie Lockhart, coming in from Oakland, California. She is our song leader for the day. Thank you, Bonnie, for being here. Bonnie is new to us, friend of Aileen Vance, who is today's host, coming in from Santa Cruz, California, and can't wait to see the two of them at work in this space. And so greetings and welcome to Gary Pausner, coming in from Massachusetts. Greetings and welcome to Elaine, coming in from, I'm not sure, but it's nice to have you, and you might be new to us today. Kathy coming in from Colorado, Sheila in Florida, Dally in Maryland, Aloysius in Massachusetts, Hoda in British Columbia, Susan in Cincinnati, Bob coming in from Albany, Carolyn coming in from Boise, Idaho, reminding me that today is day 1,555 consecutive days of singing in this space. And boy, that number gets cooler every day. Coming in from Rhode Island is Dory and maybe Ollie in the background. Dory, haven't seen you in a while. Glad you're back with us. And there's Ollie. Hi to Dan in Vienna, Virginia. Hi to Marcia coming in from Huntsville, Ontario. Ruth in Birmingham, UK. Athena in Brooklyn. Also reminding me today's day number. Thank you, Athena. Hi to Nancy Schimmel, one of our song leaders. Thank you for being here with us today. Linda on Orcas Island. Hello to Annette in California. Diane in Massachusetts. And let's see, we've got Sarah in Connecticut, Lynn in Connecticut, Kevin in DC, and let's see who's on page 2 for me. We have Ted coming in from Oakland. I think you're new to us today, Ted. Glad you're here. I see Phil coming in from Totnes, UK. Nice to see you today, Phil. Hello to Sue in Seattle, Sandy in Western North Carolina, Fred in Maryland. Hi to Vicky coming in from Oakland, maybe new to us today. Nice to see you. Ann in Silver Spring, Maryland, Elizabeth in California. Hi to Lynn and Cliff, or at least the Cliff half coming in from Vermont, Nancy in Washington State, Carolyn, Connecticut, somebody who's new to us today on an iPhone, glad you're with us, and Trish coming in from Victoria. Everybody, let's take a deep breath. And let's just all wave hi to everybody. Take a minute here. Just everybody say hi to everybody else. Yeah, it's nice to see all these beautiful smiling faces. Aileen Vance is one of our frequent flyer singers, songwriters, and hosts in the room, and we're so glad to have her back today in the hosting role. Aileen, I'm going to turn it over to you. Welcome to you and Bonnie.
Well, welcome everyone into the Daily Antidote room and all the people out on the live stream. I'm so excited that today is number 1,555. And just take a moment to realize what a miracle you all are to show up here every day. Most of you, I think, are showing up almost every day to sing a song together and give a little medicine back to the world in the form of music. So really happy to be with you today. And thank you so much to Joe for hosting and teching this morning. Oh, it's morning for me and it's morning for Bonnie, but I guess it's afternoon for some of you and it might even be evening for some of you. And I'm so happy now to find people coming from all over the world to this Daily Antidote of Song room. And today it's my incredible pleasure to introduce Bonnie Lockhart to you. Many of you know her already and you know of her work and you probably know some of her songs even if you haven't heard her sing them. Her songs travel all over the world for a very long time. She's a singer, she's a songwriter, and she's probably best known for the work that she's done with children over many decades. Her special area are songs and games from all over the world that she works with children in community and tries to talk about important issues through the tradition of songs and games. She's also an activist and a feminist. She's a community builder. She's a longtime member and mover and shaker in the Children's Music Network. And I know a lot of the people in this room that come into this room regularly are members of the Children's Music Network and supporters of it. She's also a founding member of a wonderful group called Acapella that I'm very inspired by. They do street corner singing in the East Bay and the San Francisco area for a variety of political actions, usually when there's some important issue. And one of Bonnie's special issues is climate change and climate justice, but she continues to work for justice and peace for all, one song at a time. Welcome, Bonnie.
It's great to be here. Thanks, Aileen. And thanks so much, Joe, for keeping this going for so long. It's amazing. All right, well, I think that's my cue that we're going to sing. And without further ado, let's do that. I'd like to sing Who Are the Witches? And I would like you to sing with me. So I'm going to sing a chorus, and then I'm going to line out that chorus, and then we're going to sing the whole song. Who were the witches? Where did they come from? Maybe your great-great-grandmother was one. Witches were wise, wise women, they say. And there's a little witch in every woman today. So that's the chorus. And now you're going to sing the chorus with me. And I know some of you already sang it, and that is wonderful. But now I'm going to sing a line, and then you'll sing it back to me. Who were the witches? Where did they come from? Here it comes. Who were the witches? Where did they come from? Maybe your great-great-grandmother was one. Maybe your great-great-grandmother was one. Witches were wise, wise women, they say. Witches were wise, wise women, they say. And there's a little witch in every woman today. There's a little witch in every woman today. All right, here comes the whole song. Where did they come from? Maybe your great-great-grandmother was one. Witches were wise, wise women, they say. And there's a little witch in every woman today. Witches knew all about flowers and weeds, how to use all their roots and their leaves and their seeds. When people grew weary from hard work and days, they made them feel better in so many ways. Who were the witches? Where did they come from? Maybe your great-great-grandmother was one. Witches were wise, wise women, they say. And there's a little witch in every woman today. Women had babies, the witches were there to hold them and help them and give them care. Witches knew stories of how life began. Don't you wish you could be one? Well, maybe you can. Who were the witches? Where did they come from? Maybe your great-great-grandmother was one. Witches were wise, wise women, they say. And there's a little witch in every woman today. Some people thought that the witches were bad. Some people were scared of the power they had. But power to help and to heal and to care isn't something to fear, it's a pleasure to share. Who were the witches? Where did they come from? Maybe your great-great-grandmother was one. Witches were wise, wise women, they say. And every woman today. There's a little witch in every woman today. Thanks for singing that.
Wow, there's an example of a song that has traveled all over the world, Bonnie, that people would know the song, but they might not have met you or heard you sing it. How do you, what is that like to have a song travel so wide, so far for so many years? When did you write that song?
I wrote that song in '72. I just looked at the lyrics and that's when I copyright, I made up a copyright. And I eventually did record it. I recorded it a couple of times. And a couple other people recorded it, and that helped it get around. I think this work, a lot of it for me, and I have a hunch a lot of other people, Aileen and others, have this experience that you just kind of have to have faith that this means something to someone other than myself, and mostly that as something I can do, but sometimes it feels like a heavy lift to keep that faith. And so having a song recorded by other people I admire, having it sung by people, I think actually my best experience was I walked through a playground, taking a shortcut of school in Berkeley, and I never had taught at that school. And I heard these 3 little girls on a swing set going, "Who were the poo-poos? Where did they do?" And I felt like, okay, that is what I have been working my life to achieve.
Now that's the folk process.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, so this is a song that was written in 1972, and it really resonated with a lot of women at that time. And I know that I first heard it sung, I think, by Betsy Rose, who's another one of our Berkeley East Bay a cappella movers and shakers, and someone that we greatly admire. But now here we are. Listening to you sing that today, this morning. I feel like it resonates now for more than just a smaller group. Have you been singing that lately? Can you put that into context? It just feels like it's so relevant right now.
Yeah, I was thinking about what to sing, and I wanted a good chorus, and I was going back and forth between so many traditional songs that have good choruses that people might know, and then I felt like, this has been, I think, a gut punch couple of weeks that we've been through here, in terms of looking at what's going to happen in the election and what's happened with the Supreme Court, what's happening in the world, and I just felt like we need something magic to happen. We need all our powers, all our imagination, all our work, and so I thought, well, this has a good chorus, and I'm feeling like I need to summon powers that are all the greatest powers of our imagination right now, and that's what felt like. This was the right song for me this morning.
That's beautiful. I love that. And I especially love because the inside of the verses of the song this concept of healing, and maybe how we see what healing is, that healing could be different than what we've been taught. Or the stereotypes of what healers are supposed to be. And as women, I know that sometimes means being caretakers to over the border of what you're actually capable of doing, and not being seen as anything but a caretaker. But in this case, to honor that long tradition of being a healer. And as I think as singers, and maybe a lot of the people in the room can relate to this, maybe you have something special that you do that you really feel you have to bring to the world. And I think as singers, all of us, men and women, everyone, we feel that urge to try to make things a little bit better for people, to soothe people, or to inspire them, or to bring them hope. And this song honors that, which I just really love.
Yeah, well, thanks. I wrote this song when I was reading Deirdre English and Barbara Ehrenreit's book, which is maybe witches something and nurses, witches, healers, and nurses. That's something that they wrote in the early 70s, responding to the misogyny that had made witches into this ugly, awful, wicked image. And I was also at the time just beginning to work with children, and I was visiting a childcare center, and there was a lot of stories and images and books about wicked witches and ugly witches and mean witches. And so these two things were happening in my life, and I thought, I need a song. So I wrote this for small children, and for myself. And then the teachers liked it, and the adults liked it. I said, so when I write, I never really quite know who my audience is, who's going to sing this song. I thought it was for children, and I still sing it with children. But I found out that it wasn't particularly a children's song. It was a people's song.
I think it's an empowerment song.
Yes, yeah, I think that's the intention. So I'm glad that's what reads.
And I love that idea that a song can make you look at something just a little bit differently than the way you looked at it before. Just that invitation to think, oh, maybe what I was taught isn't exactly the way that it was. And you can find out more. It invites you to find out more, and that's really important. And it also is a way to build a kind of community where people ask those kinds of questions, that invitation to say, oh, let's find out more about that. Children can do that. I think they have the questions right away, but I think it's harder for us as older adults. So that's really a gift to be able to do that, and also to find out that this song has traveled all over the world. And by the way, I wanted to tell people, in case they don't know, that if you wanted to learn this song, one of the other ways you can do it is in the original Rise Up Singing. The song is on page, I think it's 251 in that book. So you can go and get Rise Up Singing out from your bookshelf, and you can learn the song that way. Bonnie, the other thing that you and I were talking about recently that really inspired me was this idea that we take from the traditions that we've learned, and we find a way to make new music out of that tradition to continue to build bonds between people, to build community. And I wonder if you want to if you remember what you said to me the other day, or if you want to just talk a little bit more about that in terms of the work you've done with children. And one of the things that you do so powerfully are the songs and games where there's call and response. And it's a long tradition, that call and response between the song leader and the people that in the room, or the people in the circle, and how that works to inform what you do today, like with a cappella, where you're singing on a street corner and you have to come up with a song to talk about what's happening now in the world.
Yeah, I have no idea what I said to you the other day, but that's neither here nor there. I am very grateful for having grown up during the Great Folk Scare, and so I was exposed. My brother had a teacher in the 4th grade that loved Pete Seeger, and I don't know in Orange County in Southern California if I would have found Pete Seeger so early if it hadn't been for that teacher. And so those folk traditions that I was exposed to are gold for me. They are what encouraged me to sing, to be a singer, to learn to play the guitar. All that is just a real gift that I got from that exposure. And I know that children today aren't getting that, that everything they hear is very produced, and that so I think that singing in community is it's something everyone needs. Singing is something humans need, just like we need talking and we need eating and we need healing. So I feel very clear. I felt pretty clear from a young age. That was what I wanted to do. I didn't know exactly how I wanted to do it, but that singing with people, another thing that was really formative to me around traditional music was hearing the freedom singers, the people who sang, which was one of whom became the founder of Sweet Honey in the Rock, Bernice Johnson Regan. Hearing them sing on KPFK in Pacifica Radio as a teenager, I will never forget that. I can see the place I was, I can see what I was doing, and I heard that music and I went like, what is that? And how can I connect to that? Because that experience was clearly powerful and necessary. It was connected to liberation, and that was just something I'll never forget.
Wow. Yeah, when you say that, I can hear your voice. The first time I heard you sing was in a workshop was Songs and Games, and you were doing one of the Bessie Jones call and response children's circle games, and you opened your mouth and this huge voice came out, and I thought, wow, she's really honoring that tradition in a really powerful way. So that's wonderful. And the other thing we talked about, which I'll mention here briefly, because we're getting almost to the end of our very short half hour with everyone. But the other thing we talked about is that a lot of the people that we admire, like Pete Seeger, for example, Pete got into singing for children and at schools and at summer camps because he was blacklisted and he was not able to go into concert halls and to go on concert tours that were sanctioned. He was working kind of under the radar, trying to continue to bring a living home to his family. And that what he did was he brought a lot of those traditions into the classroom and to the summer camp, and that's where young people were inspired to continue on that tradition of singing together in community and singing together as a whole chorus, where there might be someone who lines out that chorus for you, but they're just a part of the whole, and that we're all a part of that whole.
Yeah, when you were asking me about traditions, and the first person that came to my mind was Bessie Jones. I'm glad you brought her back because that tradition is so rich. And she also was interviewed in a book and made a book about her life. And I just remember that, when I studied teaching, somebody said, we're not teaching curriculum, we're teaching people. And it's the same thing. It's like, in a certain way, I'm singing songs, but I'm also singing with people. That the connection is what it turned out was the most important thing to me. That feeling of connection and that power that we have as a collective.
That's beautiful. And of course, Bessie Jones and the Georgia Sea Island Singers, they were carrying the words and the stories and the history of the Gullah people on the Georgia Sea Islands and what happened to them when they were brought as slaves to that area. And that is very powerful to through a song, be able to tell that long, sad, painful history, and also to include victory and inspiration and hope and persistence and all of those things that are so important to all of us to continue to keep going. Which brings me back to Who Were the Witches, because I feel like that is a song that has traveled on a long road, and we still need that song today. So can we return to that song all together and sing that song together one more time before we say goodbye this morning?
All right, here it comes. Thanks everybody for showing up. It's great. I can see your faces, and I see. It's wonderful to see everyone here. And your responses. Love it. Who were the witches? Where did they come from? Maybe your great-great-grandmother was one. Witches were wise, wise women, they say. And there's a little witch in every woman today. Witches knew all about flowers and weeds, how to use all their roots and their leaves and their seeds. When people grew weary from hard working days, they made them feel better in so many ways. Who were the witches? Where did they come from? Maybe your great-great-grandmother was one. Witches were wise, wise women, they say. And there's a little witch in every woman today. Women had babies, the witches were there to hold them and help them and give them care. Witches knew stories of how life began. Don't you wish you could be one? Well, maybe you can. Who were the witches? Where did they come from? Maybe your great-great-grandmother was one. Witches were wise, wise women, they say. And there's a little witch in every woman today. Some people thought that the witches were bad. Some people were scared of the power they had. But power to help and to heal and to care isn't something to fear, it's a pleasure to share. Who were the witches? Where did they come from? Maybe your great-great-grandmother was one. Witches were wise, wise women, they say. And there's a little witch in every woman today. There's a little witch in every woman today. Thanks so much, everybody. It's so great to see these smiling faces and singing lips.
Ah, that's so wonderful, Bonnie. Thank you so much for sharing that song, and thank you so much, everyone. I'm always amazed at how creative and on the ball everyone is in this room. We've got witch signs and witch hats and all sorts of things going on. And thank you to all the people who brought all those things. Somehow, miraculously, it all comes together on the Daily Antidote of Song, where every voice is welcome and every song helps us to continue on our path, whatever that path may be. So thank you so much. And again, thank you to Bonnie for showing up today and sharing a beautiful piece of medicine with us, and to Joe for being everything in the whole wide world. She does it all, and it's amazing what she does, and she holds us all up. So thank you, Joe. Any final words, Joe?
Much. Yeah, I'm here. Thank you so much, Aileen. I'm so grateful for your hosting and for bringing Bonnie to the room today for us to sing with Bonnie. That was really, really fun. Thank you so much. So Bonnie Lockhart, everybody, and Aileen Vance. Yeah, totally amazing and fun. And yes, so I'll make a terrible joke, but props to all the people for the props, because it is really true that, like, no matter what the word is, somebody pulls up a something, and I love seeing all the thematic, depending, if you pick something easy, like sunflower, you might get like a whole wall of sunflowers in here from all different people. So I want to thank Bonnie again, Bonnie Lockhart, Oakland, California. Lots of links in the chat to learn more about Bonnie, to specifically sing along with this song on her website or on YouTube or elsewhere. And also links in the chat for Aileen. Also links in the chat for finding Bonnie at upcoming gigs, including the Children's Music Network conference, I think. Is that right?
Yep. That's coming in the fall.
Great. So thanks again, everybody, for joining us today. Can everybody please help me wave Bonnie Lockhart? Another thank you and a goodbye. Thanks for being with us today, Bonnie. And another thank you and goodbye to Aileen. Thanks for being with us. And thanks, of course, to everybody out there on YouTube and everybody out there on Facebook Live. Thanks for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed singing along. One of the great things about our archive on Facebook and on YouTube is you can go back there and sing along on any of the songs. If you want to sing them again, you can sing them again. If you want to sing what we sang last week, you can do that. You can find everything we've ever sung, except for the first 2 weeks before we were live streaming, available on our YouTube and Facebook pages. And also we have a spreadsheet on our website that lists every single song we've ever done and provides a link to go hear it. So please check that out if you would like to learn more. And just a couple quick announcements. There's a link for an article in the chat. We had a great article that came out a few weeks ago. And in that article, there are links to watching a virtual presentation of Reggie Harris and Greg Greenway's Deeper Than the Skin. Only going to be available for a few more days. So if you've missed it, please check that out in the article. The links are there on how to watch it. And yeah, please join us again tomorrow and more tomorrows here in the Daily Antidote Song. Thanks, everybody. Lots of love. So goodbye to Kathy in Colorado, Sheila in Florida, Trish in Victoria, Susan in Cincinnati, Bob in Albany, Carolyn in Boise, Idaho, Dory and Ollie from Rhode Island. Glad to have you back, Dory. I think that's Vicky in Oakland. Nice to see you. And hello, and also to Ted in Oakland. Thank you so much. I'm going to guess that some of our new Oakland people today are very specifically here for Bonnie and or Eileen. So glad you guys found us. Annette in California, Phil Hogue coming in from, well, it might be Totnes, UK, or any one of the millions of places. Oh, it is. It's Totnes today. Phil is oftentimes like the magical movable Phil in a million places. Thanks for being with us, Phil. Sue in Seattle. Ruth coming in from Birmingham, UK, another mover around in the universe. Athena in Brooklyn. Thank you for reminding me that today is day 1550. Oh, now I forget. 555 maybe. And yeah, okay. And thank you so much, Athena, for putting that in there. And thank you also, Kevin in DC. I've got lots of cue cards now. I love it. Fred in Silver Spring, Maryland. Kevin in Washington, DC. Hoda in British Columbia. Linda on Orcas Island. Deli coming in from Maryland. Dan in Vienna, Virginia. Storm in Massachusetts. Leanna over there in Vermont. Nice to see you. Gary in Massachusetts. Ann in Silver Spring. Aloysius in Massachusetts. I see Willard coming in from Vermont. Hello, Willard. Let's see, Marcia in Huntsville, Ontario, Sarah in Connecticut, Lynn in Connecticut. I see Jane in Texas is here today. Nice to see you. So Lynn, Sandy in Western North Carolina, Nancy in Washington State, Carol in Connecticut, Kat in Vermont, and Priscilla, I think Pennsylvania. Priscilla, I'm sorry, I don't always remember yours. Thanks everybody again so much. See you all tomorrow. Come on in for another day of changing the world one day, one song at a time. Lots of love.